Alright, not much going on today, just some running this morning. Went to the sandblasters and picked up all the miscellaneous stuff I had sandblasted. Dust covers, rear bumper brackets, the hood mount release bracket, the front bumper brackets, all the front bumper and rear bumper inner structure, and the rear sway bar. I'll sandblast it. Oh, and backing plates for the brakes. And then went and picked this stuff up. Timing set, kickback black pistons and rods with the ARP bolts, comp cam, main and rod bearings, rings, block with the brass plugs, line board with ARP bolts, heads all done, new springs, new valves, everything done on them, cleaned up, milled, crank, repolished the crank, and reconditioned the rods. We got 1010 on the rods in the main, and that's where we're at with that. Got the new, oh yeah, we got the Tam Saver lifters, and there she blows. 440 warranty block, no VIN code on it. So I gotta make me some room out here. Probably what I'll do is flip the car up on its side, push it over as far as I can get it over that way, and then I got a table that I could set up out here to put all my parts on. And then once I get all the parts set on, I need to dig out my engine stand, get the block on the engine stand, and start assembling this dang thing. I'm happy. Happy day. Oh, happy day. But anyways, got that painted. I think I already told you guys that, but anyways, yeah, got that all painted, waiting for it to dry. I'm gonna let it dry a couple days before I go touching it. Still cleaning up in here, still moving stuff around. All work and no play makes for Joe a dull day. So I don't want to do any kind of sanding or anything in here while the engine is apart. So I will, like I said, push the car aside until I get it assembled. And then I got a place right here I can set it and get it covered up until I can get the engine bay, bottom of the car painted, K-frame all rebuilt and put back under the car, and the rear end all rebuilt and back up under the car. And once all that's done, I will be able to drop the engine in there and put this thing back down on its wheels and tires and start the other part. Alright, but you know what's going to happen. I'm going to get that engine in there, and then I'm going to want to hook it up and start it up, but I'm not going to do that. Alright, night-night. Alright, so just like that, I got my table set up, getting my parts gathered, engine on the stand. I will be utilizing some parts off of this motor. You know, just try to save a little bit of money. But I need my HP manifolds, the oil sending unit, and then I will need all of the brackets off the front that I actually took me a long time to find all those air conditioner brackets and everything. And when I did get them, I just took them and had them powder coated, so they're already done and powder coated. I will be taking the high volume water pump off, and then probably be taking all the pulleys. This is a cast crank motor. I'll be taking the power steering, air conditioner. I will not be using that alternator. I have a 100 amp single wire I'll be taking and using, and I'll be taking the fuel pump, the separator, motor mounts, and I'll probably pull that, I don't know, I might leave that shaft in there for the fuel pump. Might just order another one. So because what I'm doing is, when I got this motor, it was just a bare block. It was nothing. It was just a warranty block, 73 warranty block. You can see no VIN whatsoever on it, but it is a 73 block. That's, I got it for this car. But then a little bit of Facebook Marketplace searching, and I found this steel crank that was in good condition. It just needed to be polished, so they just polished it. It's 1010. The heads was another Marketplace find. The heads did have some cracks on the seats, so them were repaired, and then he did what he had to do. So new seats, new valves, springs, everything's new on the heads. So anyways, they've been decked, or not decked, yes, decked and surfaced. The block got decked, the block got a line honed and bored, and it got bored with the plates on it, so it's 30 over. And I got the Keith Black pistons, comp cam, all for the 323 gears to make this thing scoot down the road. What I had to order was an intake manifold, the valley pan hold downs, because I don't want to take those off of that one. So I ordered the hold downs and the bolts, head gaskets, oil pump, the intermediate shaft, oil pickup, oil pan, because I don't want to take the pan off of that one. So I just ordered a new pan from 440 Source, new damper, push rods, oil slinger, new timing cover. Then I got the rocker hold down bolts because I was missing some there. I just went ahead and just bought a whole nother set, because this is actually missing all but one on this side. I got the other side's complete, but I will take them and give them a bath and get them all cleaned up in the washer solution. But other than that, I believe I have just about everything. I went ahead and ordered that stuff, and with it being a holiday weekend, it'll probably be into next week before it starts showing up. But anyways, got my cam card, and here's what they was doing to it. Hot tank, Magnaflux, shot blasted the block, bore and hone with plates, a line hone, new cam bearings and freeze plugs, Cleaned the heads, magnafluxed them, did a valve job, CC'd and milled the heads, replaced the valve seats on 8 of them, replaced valve guides, did crack repair, pressed pins, reconned the rods, and the rods have the ARP bolts on them, and then they balanced everything, balanced the assembly, and polished the crank. But keep black pistons, Hastings rings, crawler lifters, cam bearings, freeze plugs, ARP main bolts, ARP rod bolts, the valve spring kit, intake valves, exhaust valves, comp cam, rod bearings, main bearings, timing set, and that's that. So he kind of told me on my rings that I needed to test them, that the top ring is 024 to 26, second is 018. So he just wanted me to test all the rings or whatever, because he said they don't come perfect anymore. He said they used to, but anyways, but they just kind of, they rode around on stuff on the block, like torque mains to 90 foot-pounds with ARP lube. You know, they made me little notes and stuff on it, because this is my first rodeo. This is my first go-around. So all I can say is wish me luck. I did start assembling the rear end, and I still need to do some painting, put some bolts on. I got a brand new gasket for there, and then I got to put these gaskets on. It's just kind of mocked up right now, but I plan on just painting it all black. I was going to do like silver on the backing plates and then black on everything else, but then I decided, you know what, I just do this shiny black on everything, including the drums. I'll probably use like an oil base or something on the drums. But anyways, it's raining out right now, so I'm not going to do much, and I'm not going to be out here for very long. But once I start getting this assembled and the crank and stuff, all that stuff in, the pistons and everything, I'll be able to bag that up, and then I'll be able to shoot some epoxy primer on all my parts that I just had sandblasted. I did luck out on my rear sway bar, and the bushings are in great shape, so that's something I won't have to worry about or order. I was looking into it, but I won't have to. They're in great shape. I'll just leave it the way it is, and maybe paint it silver. That might look good on the rear end if the rear sway bar is painted silver. All right. Brass freeze plugs. They put all the plugs in it for me. ARP bolts for that. And then I got the ARPs for the heads. And I got the studs, not the bolts. So, here we go. Cam saver lifters. Alright, night-night. So we got another piece of the puzzle. And I think I might start jacking around out here a little bit. Got a couple things to gather up. So there's torque mains to 90 with ARP lube. ARP get any ARP lube? Oh, there's some ARP lube right there. I think I got some more somewhere. I'll be back with you. So they put something on there. I think that's the bob weight and initial and balance and all that stuff. Internally balanced. Alright. Alright. So got the upper bearings in. Oiled them all up. The bottom seal, upper seal should I say, is in. And it spins easy. So far so good. And clean the caps up and put the bearings on them. And I'll start setting them in place. Alright, be back. Okay, after cleaning the caps, putting the bearings in, the shells, bearing shells, put lubricant on the ARP bolts and snugged everything down. Put the screwdriver in the front, make sure the thrust bearing is seated, and then put it in the rear. And now I'm going to do my first run on the torque. This is 90, so I'm going to go, I don't know, 30, 50, 90. Alright, be back. Okay, after doing the 30, I'll pull my screwdriver out here. Now I'll do the 50 and the 90. Be back. Okay, and happily, after torquing him all down to 90, as you can see, still spins nice and smooth. That's what we want. Alright. So I have to wait on a tool to do the rings. I could probably spiral them on to the pistons, but they actually call for a tool to actually open them up to put them on. But before I do that, I have to put them in the cylinder and check the end gaps, make sure that I'm within specs on the end gaps. Yeah, I think I got a note right here that that's what I need to be in between 0.24 and 0.26 on the top, 0.18 on the second, a minimum of 0.15 on the oil ring rails. Don't exceed 34 degrees. Oh, that's not that part. So yeah, I just gotta wait. I'm waiting on the tool to open them up to be able to put them on there. But I need to check the end gaps on them. So, all right. I think this is just it for now. I'll get it together pretty quick here. I ordered a few parts. They're supposed to be here Monday. So Monday I'll have everything to finish it up. And then Saturday I should have the tool to put the rings on the pistons. And if the gaps turn out good on the rings, I'll have the pistons installed this weekend. Alright, night night. Okay, one last thing before I call it. Just checking the end play on the crank. And let's see what we got here. It looks like a little over 3. I think it's fine. Yeah, I think it's good. Alright now. And rot row. That's what I say is rot row. So I got the top ring in, and I'm checking the end gap. And what I'm coming up with, nice tight fit in between the, for the end gaps. Yeah, I think it's a little too tight right there. That's 22. So we'll go back to 21 here. Sorry about the phone action. So 21. Yeah, 21 fits right down in it. Snug, but fits in it. Anyways, so that's what I came up with, was 21. And his little paperwork told me 24 to 26. So them were a little tight in my opinion. So that's where I'm going to leave it off and leave this video off, and I'll go and call him tomorrow and see what he says about that. I might have to get a file, ring file, and file them down a little bit. Open that gap up just a little. Alright. Fun. Okay, got another little piece of the puzzle here. A compressor and a spring tool. And of course a feeler gauge. So, anyways, so I'm going to, because I don't have a tool to check the clearance of the bearings, I'm going to run them back over to the machine shop, and he's going to put the bearings in and check the clearance, make sure that they're good to go. I was wondering about the little dots on the back here, because they were kind of not making any sense to me, but he did number them, so I didn't realize it until he told me. So we got 2, 4, 6, 8. So they're all numbered, because I was kind of worried about that. I wanted to make sure I was getting them in the right hole where they belong. And after discussing with him about that clearance or gap on the ring gap, basically the top one, and I ordered a grinder to grind it down, but the top ones have to be opened up a little bit, but the rest were fine. So I'm waiting on that tool also. So anyway, that's where I'm at with that. I got tired of just sitting around and waiting, not being able to do anything, because I'm waiting for parts to come in and all that good stuff. So I got to take them over Monday and have them check the clearance on the bearings. My sander for the rings should be in here tomorrow, so I'll work on that. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, I'll work on that and get them all set to where they need to be. They're at like a 21 and need to be at like a 26. So while I was waiting, I went ahead and shot some paint on the rear axle, the 8 3/4 Sure Grip, 11-inch brakes. So anyways, I got all the nuts in and torqued, and she turning. But my pinion snubber is kind of gnarly. This one I've just had laying around a long time that came off of the Duster rear end, because I put that adjustable one on the Duster so that I could actually adjust it not to get so much of that wind up with the springs. Everybody knows what that's for traction. But anyways, I will clean this one up and put it on this rear end. So that's where we're at, all painted up. I'm going to paint the drums with like some oil base, black oil base, and that'll be that. Maybe shoot one more coat on the housing. I ordered some more paint for that, but anyway, yeah, turned out pretty nice in my opinion. Woo woo! 8 3/4 Sure Grip. It's what belongs under this car. It actually had a 9 1/4 one-legger in there that the previous owner had put under it. Not saying it was a bad rear end, but I think that's just a more desirable rear end. But alright, that's my opinion. Like I was saying, I got that 9 1/4 that came out of it, but it's a one-legger. And then I got that other one back there that came out of that other Charger I picked up, and I think it's an 8 1/4. So that's that. I will have to put the brake shoes on and do all the brake stuff inside of this rear end, but I just bored with it, so I'm going in. But one step closer. I did order some leaf springs. I got to go out and pick them up. I'm not going to put the originals back on because they was only like, well, then they wasn't the originals. It was whoever threw this rear end under there with those. When I bought this car, the driver's side spring was broke, and I took another spring and took the leaves off of it to fix that one. But US Spring, or one of them, I can't remember the name of it, they have the ones that are meant for this car, and they're for 440 and Hemi cars. These never came with a Hemi, but 440s. And I think, if I remember right, one was six maybe on the passenger, and 7 leaf on the driver's side. So, but that's what I ordered, and that's what I'll be picking up for it. Anyways, moving on. Really wanting to get this engine put together so I can get it bagged up, sealed up, and slid over here out of the way so I can jump back into here and get this rock guarded, painted on the bottom. Moving on. I'll be, meanwhile, while I'm working on all this stuff, I need to get the front K-member out, but I really don't have the room for it right now, so that's why I'm, as soon as the motor gets put together and bagged up, I'm going to put primer on these. Then I could slide this out of the way, that out of the way, and then I'll be able to pull the K-frame out, pull it the rest of the way apart, replace whatever I need to be replacing on it. Anyway, so yeah, I had that was another piece I didn't remember to tell you all about, but the tie rod ends, the power steering box, I had all that sandblasted too while I was over there. Alright, that's where I'm at. Night night. Alright, got a bunch of goodies in today. I'll get ready to run these over, and he's going to put the bearings in the rods and make sure they're going to fit right. I don't know, maybe should have done that before I picked them up, but he didn't. So anyways, got all the gaskets, got the new bolts for the rocker arms, new distributor, timing chain, high volume oil pump, bolts to hold it on, new timing cover, new timing cover bolts, intake, oil pan bolts, damper, oil pump drive, intermediate shaft, and I think these are the water housing that have to be cleaned up. Water housing bolts for the front pulley, fuel pump push rod, flex plate bolts, billet aluminum oil seal, push rods, starter bolts, valley pan hold downs, and a new solid flex plate. And I got the oil pan and the oil pan, or the oil pump pickup. Alright, so run them over, let him test them, and I will grind the top ring down and get them to fit correctly with the right gap. I got the grinder in from the mail today, so I will be doing that while he's doing that. That way when I get them back, it'll be put the rings on and start dropping them in the holes. Alright, moving on. Alright, so got the pistons over. He's supposed to check all the rod bearing clearances tomorrow. I don't know, like again, I don't know why they didn't already do that before I brought it home. I guess they just expected me to do it, but I told them in the first place this was my first time, so they should have probably figured that out beforehand. But anyways, meanwhile back at the ranch, I'm doing these gaps. I don't know if we can see this on here. Where is it at? No, you can't even see it with the camera. That's crazy. Oh, there it is. 26. That's what he said they needed to be at. And we got 26, 26, 26, 26, 26, 26, 26, and 26. So I got all this top rings gapped. and I don't know for sure, but my guess would be to leave them in the piston that I'm going to be putting them in, so that they're in order and they're gapped for that cylinder, should I say. So I'm just going to leave them kind of where they're at in there for now until I get the pistons back, and then I will pull them out and set them on the corresponding piston that goes to that cylinder. I don't know, like I said, I guess that's how you do it. That's how I'm going to do it. Alright, I'm out of here. It's a little warm out here today. Bye bye. Alright, it's been a couple days, few days. The bearings got tested for clearance. They cleared the clearance. The clearance is clear. So I'm getting ready to string some rings on each one. And my last video I already showed you that I got those top rings gapped already. So the fun begins. Here we go. Okay. And that's that. Rings are installed on the pistons. Yay. Alright. Guess I'll try to knock some of them in the holes there. See how that goes. Okay. Got one in the hole. Haven't torqued them yet, but just snugged them. I have to loosen them back up and put some ARP thread grease on there and then torque them down. I'm gonna wait and get them all in and then do the torque all at the same time. Alright, on to the next. Alright, so I ran into another dead end. One of my ring lands had a small little ding on the side of it somewhere. I can't remember exactly where it was. I think it was right there. But anyways, it was causing the ring not to drop down in there. So I probably could have done it here, but I just went ahead and took it back to the shop, being it ain't too far away. And they just took a small precision file and kind of filed that little ding down so that the ring would set back in there the way it's supposed to. So that's where I'm at with it. Getting ready to compress this piston now and get it in the hole. That's where I was until the ring wasn't sliding in there the way it's supposed to. Alright, be back. Alright, got two in. Going on my third one here. Lined up down here. Looking good. Looking good. There we go. And just like that. And put a cap on. Okay. Got all the pistons in and all the rod bolts are torqued down. 50 foot-pounds with the ARP lube on it. And there's what she looks like. Put the pistons in. So exciting! Well, for me anyways. Alright, I'll get back with you. Okay, parts are starting to disappear off of the table. Camshaft pistons, rings, timing chain, bearings. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. Pistons are in, oil pump is on, timing chain is on and dotted up. So I stopped because I need to get some thread sealant for the pickup. And then what else do I need? Oh, I have to order a new seal kit for this billet rear seal. For some reason I've started putting these in and it boogered these two blue ones up, so I'm gonna have to figure out something different and a different way to get it installed, because the way I was doing it, it didn't work. It boogered them. So I'll just have to go down and get another set and start over. I guess that's the only way to fix that problem. Let's see. So yeah, I got to get that sealant for that, and then I can put the oil pan on. But I can't put the oil pan on until I get this seal on. So ordered one of them. Getting some of that. And that's where I'm at. Like I said, first time for me. It's kind of weird how they're staggered like that. I guess that's the way it is. So I'm ordering the tool to stick down in there so I can pump the oil up, and I think that would be one of the last pieces to put in, the intermediate shaft. But anyways, I have to read some instructions on them for ours. But anyways, yeah, I gooed up that. Gooed it up, the camshaft. Shoved it up in there. Used the long bolt here on the end to kind of hold it to go in. It seemed to work out alright. And I'll have to find a plug for here when I put that fuel pump push rod in there. I'll have to plug that hole right there. So there's something else I need to get, but it's starting to come together. My goal is to get that put together, get it all sealed up, paint it, and then bag it and put it over here for now until I can get this in paint Yeah, I think I've told you guys before. Bottom of the car, engine bay in paint, rear end under there, and front suspension under it. I ordered the new leaf springs for the rear. Gotta go pick them up. Alright, that's it for now. I'm out of here. Alright, this is the 440 Source oil pan, 971, super thick. But I'm checking the clearance for the bottom of the pickup to the bottom of the pan, making sure I'm not too close or too far away. I think I just barely touched it there. Let me go ahead and make it a little taller and try again here. See what it does. I want to get an accurate measurement. Yeah, I mushed it over. Hold on. Alright. It looks like about a ½ inch. I think that should do it. Alright. Went ahead and got some thread sealant with the PTFE. Got that sealed up. This is tight in there. It's good on the height. And then I told you guys I destroyed a set of these trying to get them in. So what I done is cleaned off all the excess silicone and put some new silicone on, and took the pieces and put them back on, glued them back on there, and then I got it sitting here in my vise. I don't have it super tight, but I got it tight enough to hold it in place. And I'm going to let that dry before I attempt to put it back in, because as I said that last time, it got destroyed on this edge right here. It kind of just cut it. So I'm gonna try something different. If you don't succeed the first time, try again. Look at that. That's no good. So anyways, another little piece of silicone right there. My seal's in there good. Probably dry that off a little bit with the clean rag before I put silicone on it, because silicone dries very good with oil on it. I've got to have a little bit on that seal, a little bit of oil, not a whole bunch. Alright. Alright. That's where I'm at with that. Gonna let that seal dry on there for an hour or so, and I'll come back out and attempt to install it, and that way I can move on. Once I get that installed, I can go ahead and install the oil pan. And then, no, I think I need to do the timing cover first. That makes sense, right? Do the timing cover and then do the oil pan. Alright, that's where I'm at with it. Be back later. Alright, so went ahead and turned it to TDC and installed the timing cover and the timing cover seal. Just had to press it in, but I attempted to put that rear mainsail in again with failure. I didn't tear up the gaskets this time, but I'm having a hard time getting that thing to slide in there. It's just like the tolerances are just too close. It's too tight. So I went ahead and cleaned it all up, re-glued it, and I'm going to leave it dry overnight this time instead of a couple hours, and I'll attempt it again tomorrow. But anyways, I just wanted to show you what I was doing right here. Got the timing cover on, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to just find something that fits in there so I can paint that timing cover and engine when it comes time, because I don't want to get paint on the damper because it's got the timing marks on it. So anyways, I went ahead and pulled the weight off of it because it's a universal. It'll work for internal or external balance. And you can see I got new bolts for the pulley when I go to put that on. But anyways, timing cover, brand new bolts, gasket, seals in place. Moving on. Alright, after third time's the charm, I ended up doing, I just took my little grinder and put a kind of a towel in here to keep anything from getting in the engine, and I kind of, you can see right there where I kind of took the sharp edge off of that on both sides to keep it from chowing down on that side sill while I was putting it in. And after pushing and begging and pleading for it not to mess up, I actually was able to get it in. Got the two caps, cap bolts, tied it down to 30 foot-pounds, and now I'm ready for an oil pan, I do believe. No windage tray, because I don't think it's going to need a windage tray, with it being just a 30 over stock rebuild with mild cam. It's got that sump area, so I think it'll be plenty enough. Ain't worried about it robbing no horsepower. That's not my horsepower motor. That's my horsepower motor. If that makes sense to you guys. Okay, I'll get back with you. Alright. More stuff disappearing off the table here. The bottom end's pretty much done. Oil pan on. I did put silicone on the edges of that. and then on the edge of the timing cover up front. But other than that, no silicone on the rest. So that's where I'm at with it. Okay, putting comp cam lube on the bottom of the lifters, and I shot all the lifter bore holes with oil. I'm gonna drop them in there. Get back with you. Alright. After getting the lifters all in, lubed up, I went ahead and installed the ARP head studs and the Velcro gaskets. Get ready to drop the heads on there, and then I'm going to call it a night. I ain't going to torque them down tonight. I'll get back to it tomorrow. Alright, so got the head set on. The studs are in. I got to smear some ARP lube on each one of them so that I can get the nuts started on there. And this is all they gave me, was this little package like this to do all of them. But luckily, at a car show a couple years ago I went to, these were in the goodie bags. So it's ultra torque lubricant. So yeah, I was lucky. I have a bunch of it. Alright, I'll be back. Alright, so it's always a good thing when you get to the bottom of your box and it's empty. You don't have any bolts or washers or anything left. Anyways, I remembered, because of this car having ARP head studs too, that the washers are directional. They can only go on there one way. Well, they can go on either way, but you want to put them on the correct way. And that's where the beveled part of it points up. The center of it's beveled for the nut or something to go in there. But anyways, they're all on there. They're not torqued yet. I will do that tomorrow, but they all have the goo on them, the ARP lube, should I say, fastener assembly lubrication ultra torque. Anyways, they're ready to be torqued on. One step closer, moving forward. I did, like I said, ordered the oil pump drive thing that I gotta pump up the oil when that time comes, but I'm just gonna put it together and kind of push it aside for now. Maybe you guys can tell me what you think. Do you think I should clean up the original valve covers and put them back on, sandblast them and paint them or whatever? Or should I use the Mopar ones? I got a set of those on the wall over there that I've had for quite a while. Kind of use a set of those, and instead of putting them on their stock, thought about doing them like I did Dusty's engine and powder coating them car color and doing the stripes and the Mopar part the Chrysler blue, kind of like I done this one here. Let me move this stuff and I'll open it up for you. And I'll do the intake also if I decide to do that, and powder coat them. Well, where's it at down here? See where I powder coated these. They're pretty dirty, but I powder coated them the dark blue, which is the color of the car, and then I did the stripes in orange for Hemi orange, and then the custom breather, and then I powder coated the intake manifold, the alternator, all the stainless steel hoses that I built, and just everything's pretty much color coded or powder coated or whatever inside of here. I thought about doing the same thing on the other car also, but instead of being the dark blue, it'll be the eggshell white, off-white that this car is going to be. Anyways, yeah. So either just go straight up stock blue on everything, or do some custom stuff. Got the carburetor here. This is a correct numbers carburetor for this car, and then I got this aluminum intake, so it's not going to be stock up here anyhow. So like I said, the engine will be blue, this will be the car color, valve covers will be car color and blue on the stripes, and then I'll either do a custom breather or I'll put my factory breather back on. I don't know, we'll see, because I know I got the factory breather with the door on the bottom, the 73 with the door on the bottom that I can put back on this motor. So I might just do the stock valve covers, sandblast them, paint everything blue, and then use the factory breather on it. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Look at that. Just stick laying down in there. That'd be nice to get up in my engine. Alright, take this off. Put that over there. Alright, man, I got a hell of a mess out here. I got to get cleaned up eventually here, but I'm rolling on with this thing. I'll torque the heads tomorrow, and then I can get these cleaned up Get the push rods put in. And then I can get this sandblast it and start bolting it on. Alright, that's where I'm at with it. Night. Okay, so last night's video I was showing that I had the heads on, was getting the bolts all on there, greased everything up, was going to torque them down this morning. So that's kind of what I come out to do, and they said to torque them down to 70. So I did 35, and then I was going to do the 70, as it says right here. And I got all these on this side to 35, and then come back to do my 70. Got all the centers done, got all the way, working my way out. Got all the way to this one. Didn't even get barely past 35 and snip! Pulled the threads out. As you can see, it looks like they've already repaired this one. So, that's where I'm at with it. Looks like it's got to go back. Unless they do house calls. I don't know. That's just disappointing. Alright, I'm out. Alright, I went 2 steps forward and 2 steps back. So I figured the easiest way to get the engine over there without tearing up the oil pan or anything like that was to just order this cradle for it. And then I had some wheels laying around that wasn't being used for anything. The bolt in the bottom of it was smaller, so I just welded a new nut to the bottom of it so I could screw the legs into it. But I just figured that's probably going to be the best way to get it over there and move it around and not damage anything. So I don't know if I'll be able to do it tomorrow or Friday, but I need to get it back over to the machine shop so they can fix and tap that bolt hole that pulled out of the head, or out of the block for the studs. But I'll probably end up just taking the heads, the gaskets, the studs, all the washers, just take them all over there with me. That way they can deal with it, and they can put the heads on and tighten the bolts down, and if they pull another thread while they're there, they can repair it while it's there. It's just going to be easier for me to do it that way. Plus, with it being on here, I've already done everything on the bottom end, so I don't have to flip the engine anymore. So when I get it back, I could just leave it on the cradle and move it over here out of the way. I just went ahead and left that part on, and then just cut these down a little bit to space out for the cradle to bolt on, and the other part to be left on there. I don't know why, but just in case I have to put it back on the engine stand and flip it over or whatever. Alright, that's where I'm at with it. Get ready to pull all the lifters back out, set them aside, and then I can move this stuff to the side and be able to roll it out the back door and put it on my little trailer and haul it over to them. Alright, see ya. Okay, let me get you caught up where I'm at. Flip this around. So after a 30-day break from the video that I just had where I was telling you guys one step forward, one step back. So this is a month later. That was like June 11th, so a little over a month. This is like the 19th of July. So took the engine back over there to the machine shop, and I dropped it off. And the week that I dropped it off was going to be my vacation week, so it didn't really matter anyways. And then I found out that the machinist that does the block work, that was his vacation week too. So the week I was gone on vacation, down to Jasper and Harrison, Arkansas, and over Mountain Judy, and all kinds of fun. Me and my grandson did like a 4-mile hike down through the woods to see King's Bluff and Pedestal Rock. And then we stayed on a little farmhouse and an Airbnb down there for a week. Had a blast. Took all 4 of my grandkids with me. Got back. Called them up after about a week or so of him being back. Yeah, we're trying to fit you in between. So, needless to say, I just got it back yesterday. The wheels that I put on the brand new engine cradle that I bought are destroyed from rolling around this shop. They bent them and tore them up. So, anyways, that's neither here nor there. I'm going to get that fixed. I'm going to put some heavier duty wheels on it so it can be rolled around in here when that time comes. But other than that, I haven't done anything on the car because I had open parts still laying out here, and I don't want to do any sanding or anything until this is bagged up and locked up. So that's where I'm at now. I will be getting back after it. I need to get some more comp cam lube to pour in here on the cam again, just to make sure that it's nice and lubed up before I bolt the intake manifold on and the valley pan cover and all that good stuff. So meanwhile, back at the ranch, let's see, they tested my torque wrench, said yeah, it's fine, which I didn't think it had a problem to start with. They just, I don't know, thought maybe my torque wrench was tightening the bolts up too tight to pull a thread out, but I know it wasn't. It's brand new. But anyways, I've been buying some little parts here and there. I got all new body plugs, some straps and stuff that belong under the hood, battery tie down. And at the engine shop, they ended up repairing 7 more of the threads that were thin and damaged. So that goes to tell you, I mean, 7 more, that is something they probably should have caught when they was doing the first machine work. Needless to say, I had them put the heads on and torque them down. That way, if anything else popped while it was there, they could repair it. And then I'm doing the radiator nightmare on this car. So the deal is, being a 1973 Dodge Charger 440 Magnum air-conditioned car, it had a 28-inch max cool radiator in it from the factory, and they're hard to find. There's none around. So I actually got a hold of Andy Pohl. He's got several B-bodies like this and was able to pull one out of a haystack, a needle out of a haystack. And he sent me this one here. And it fits in there perfect. It's the right deal. And the numbers are close, but it's not the exact one that this car came out with, but it was real close, and I was going to live with that. And then a couple days ago I saw a guy selling parts out of a C-body, and I was like, well, hell, let's just go grab it just to see, because it was cheap enough. So I went and grabbed it from him, and of course the C-body is, as you can see, taller, the same width, but different brackets on the side. So that was the lesson learned. But I got that nice C-body 2-core, and then I got this B-body 73, 74 3-core. So I called around, and I was gonna talk to Glenn Ray about sending this one to him and having him recore it, and he looked around his shop and came up with the correct numbered, date coded one for my car. So instead of sending this one to him, he's got the tanks over there already, and he's already got the metal brackets. So he's going to be building me a 28-inch, not a max cool, but a 3-core. And I think 3-core is going to be fine for this factory stock build. I mean, it's not like it's a stroker motor like this one. So a 3-core should be fine. So with that said, now I got a brand new one coming from Glen Ray that's going to be numbers matching, and it's just going to make me happier having the correct radiator in this car and not having to put the aluminum one back in that I didn't really like. So now I have the aluminum one that I can get rid of, 28-inch. I got this one, 28-inch 3-core, that probably needs a good recore. And then I got that C-body one. So next Mopar show that they have out there, I might take all of them out there and see if maybe I can get my money back on them or whatever. So I just wanted to give everybody an update, because it's been a whole month since I posted a video, and I'm going to start getting back at it. We are coming to the end of July, beginning of August, and if anybody knows anything about Kansas, it's the dog days of summer, and it's like 91 in here right now, but it was 95 was the heat today, 100 and some odd degree heat index. But I had my fan over here on the floor, and it wasn't doing very good. And what I did is I've hung it up over here for now, and it's giving a nice breeze through here right now. So I will be getting back after this mess. Want to get this all put together, move to the side, fix my cradle, put the engine back on the cradle so it can be low to the ground and hidden over here, bagged up, where I ain't got to worry about nothing, no dirt getting in it or anything like that. Pete and repeat, went for a boat ride. Pete fell out, and I guess I'm the repeater, so I was left. Torque wrench is good. I'm gonna put that up. Another piece of the puzzle that I was looking for was the reveal bumper reveal trim, and I have a couple nice rears, and then I got a decent, yeah, it's kind of pity, but I got a decent driver's side, and I got a cracked, funky passenger side. So that's another piece of the puzzle that I've been looking for, and I think I might have found some. I'll know more about them Monday. That they're a set that someone was going to use on their car and decided against it and had them re-chromed. So they're super nice. If it goes through, I'll have a nice set, but I will be looking for one more passengers to make a nice quality driver set that I might be able to get rid of. And other than that, rocker molding, wheel well molding, and sill plate that goes in here, scuff plate, whatever you want to call it. I got a used set, but I'm going to probably buy a new set. Other than that, honestly, I think I'm pretty much there on all the extra parts that I needed to make this car go back the way it used to be. Still waiting on the wheel well trim. I don't know when that'll come in, but I mean that can be installed later down the line if need be. Waiting for AMD or one of them to come up with some. I'm on their wait list, so if some comes in, I'm sure they'll call me. But alright, just a little update, and that's where we're at. And I should be getting back after it, and more updates to be coming quicker. See you later.